Welcome to Crossbody of Work. My name is Evan.
I am Javier.
This week, mildly spooky
Spooky
wrestler.
season.
He's in my head when I was 8 and I saw him in WCW. He looked spooky. I realized because he just kind of looked like a corpse at that time, which was a weird aesthetic that he chose. It's a weird decision, but it's
I
Vampiro.
mean, yes, we're covering Vampiro this week. Evan, do you want to feel as old as humanly possible?
Hell yeah.
Do you want to know when was the first time I learned about Vampiro?
Was it Lucha Underground?
It was Lucha Underground. I had no idea who he was as a person or anything like that until Lucha Underground.
I knew of Vampiro I knew him from his feud with Sting. And I wasn't a WCW fan. I've said that multiple times. Like, we were in a WCW household, but I had family who were, and I remember I'd watch it, and I knew who Sting was. Like, I knew who all the big players were. And there was this person who looked Sting-ish. You know what I mean? Like, he looked kind of like Sting, and he was feuding with Sting. And I was like, who's that?
Timu Sting?
Timu Sting. And my aunt was like, oh, that's Vampiro. He's like a young guy who's feuding with Sting. And then they were going to have a match where they light each other on fire. We will talk about that, but we will not cover that match because holy shit, it's bad. So, this is a show where we cover wrestler through 5 of the most important matches. Now, we're going to kick off the show with some news. So,
Yes.
we launched this podcast in February of 2020 when nothing bad was coming down the pipeline whatsoever. Everything was going to be very cool for the rest of 2020 and beyond.
Hunky dory, baby.
We have been doing weekly episodes since then, with obviously breaks for Christmas and things like that. We are no longer the young pups that we once were. We are in different stages. I am married now. Javier's living with a lovely lady. We're both...
Spoiler alert, we're getting engaged soon.
That's right.
She won't hear this, but maybe one day she will.
She won't fucking know. But we're also both about to become go back to school. We're both going to be studying our masters soon. So, yeah,
extensive prep work.
Yeah, Javier's doing a lot of homework, and because of that, we are shifting the way we're going to be doing episodes. So, gone is going to be the weekly episodes for now. What we are going to shift to is a season model. We are going to start doing seasons of the podcast. You can essentially think of the first 240 episodes as season 1.
You're welcome.
We're the longest running episodic wrestling program in history. Don't tell Raw. But
we're the longest running episodic audio only.
Yeah, except now we have video. Fuck. We're gonna do that. We're gonna move to a season kind of model where we will announce ahead of time when we're coming back. It'll be 6 to 10 episode seasons, depending on the thing. The seasons will have themes. The first season, we'll announce it right now, what the first season is going to be. The first season is going to be a full breakdown of wrestling in the year 1998. 1998 is one of the hottest years in wrestling across many major promotions. We're going to be covering things from January to December in 98, WWE, WCW, overseas in Japan. We're going to be doing some stuff in Mexico. We'll do some stuff in ECW. What was the state of wrestling like in 98? What were the biggest moments? What were the biggest matches? It's going to be a slightly different presentation. Maybe not as many matches per episode, but a lot more of us talking about what's happening in those times. A little more of a history look back. So the podcast is changing a little bit, but that's because we are old and have other things to do.
We are also changing. We're people who evolve. That is our nature.
We want to try something different, and so we're going to switch to the season model. And it's exciting because we're going to have YouTube content that goes along with it. We're going to have some more like Instagram stuff. You can always follow us. We'll still be posting random stuff on Instagram because that's what we love to do. But you can still follow us and still keep up with us. But we're going to let you know when new seasons are coming, so you can get excited for it and get ready for it. I'm excited for the change. Javier's excited for the change.
Yes.
We also need time to study.
Yes, we also need time to listen. Not that we feel like the quality of the episodes have been dipping, because they haven't. I feel like us as performers have been getting better.
Yeah.
However, the wrestlers have not been, and it's gotten to the point where, listen, man, when you do this for as long as we've been doing it, we're coming up. We're closer to 5 years than we are 4
we are closer
at
to
this
5
point.
years than 4. Yeah.
And like when we do this for as long as we have, the well starts to run a little dry, and we start doing episodes on Vampiro. And
just drive by on Vampiro
yeah,
during our
and
announcement.
for as much as I love the format that we have done, I feel like we can do so much more because there's so much rich history in wrestling, and I feel like doing this season model will allow us to tap more into the overall body of work of wrestling over a period of time. uh yes, we can do different breakdowns of people and things like that, like that'll just come with the process. But I'm really excited of going through, especially, I mean, season 1, 1998. Like I'm really excited to go through, look at different wrestling from all different kinds of promotions, not being sort of handcuffed to watching one person like Vampiro try to wrestle all the way through to the end of their career. We actually just get to cover a time period, a moment in time in the history of this business. And I think that's so freaking cool because hell, we could do Billy Gunn versus Al Snow on Monday Night Raw, but we could also fucking do some good shit in Japan. We could do some good shit in Mexico, some nice stuff that WCW's got going on, nice stuff at a random Midwestern promotion. Shout out to Memphis Wrestling. We could be all over the map. It's fun. It's really going to get my ADHD brain going, and my hyperfixated autistic like wrestling brain is going to be so stimulated. I can't wait.
It's going to be great because it's not that every season is going to be a specific year. Sometimes we might go with an era. Sometimes we might go with a specific theme. Like maybe it's the rise and fall of the NWO as a season. Maybe it's, how Japan has influenced Western wrestling as a season.
Yep.
Like there's always going to be lots of opportunities for things to change. If you have ideas for seasons we can cover, hit us up at Crossbody of Work on Twitter, on Instagram. We are happy to hear. But this is the second last episode before the change. So we're going to have this episode. Next week, we are doing our wrestling hot take purge. So all
Yes.
takes are legal, just like in the purge. Please send us your wrestling takes. Put them in the comments on YouTube. Send them to us through DMs at CrossbodyWork on Twitter or on Instagram. CrossbodyWorkPod@gmail.com. If you have any that you want to send us that way, give us all of your wrestling hot takes. We will give them anonymously or not. You let us know.
Takes across the board. Hot, cold, AEW,
non-wrestling.
WWE, non-wrestling. You can tell me that you like fucking gazpacho more than you like a nice tomato soup. I'm going to judge you, but I'm not allowed to say anything bad.
It's going to be great. Take Purge is going to be great. Take Purge is going to be our last episode of season 1, the 240 episode season, the longer than 4.5 year season.
Jesus Christ. We've gone longer than The Simpsons on one season.
I'm going gray. Like, I wasn't when this started. But we're still going to move to season model. Don't be afraid. The content is still there. So you'll just be, it'll when it shows up, it's going to be like a breath of fresh air. And we're also not going to do the Netflix thing where it's like 2 fucking years between seasons. No. It'll be a lot faster than that. Relax.
Yeah. It will be, and we will do our best to keep it as concise and consistent as possible, because while we may not be dropping, weekly episodes like we did before, this only allows us to put more time and effort into actually getting it done right, putting more research, more effort into like making sure that the episodes are good, that everything's real tight. We don't have to worry about like rushing deadlines, any of that stuff, because we're giving ourselves time and grace to be able to do things correctly, to make sure that you guys get the absolute best product that we could possibly give out to you guys. Because at the end of the day, we're all just weird little wrestling fans who like to talk about it when we're not watching it for some reason.
The other weird thing that's changed since we started this podcast is wrestling is good again.
Yes, it's so good.
When we started, wrestling kind of sucked. Like AEW was like finding their footing, and WWE was in the shitter, and it was just such a weird time. And now wrestling's so good.
Yes.
It's like, oh man, we could just watch AEW and WWE and just be happy.
Bryan Danielson got murdered, and Roman Reigns couldn't manipulate Solo. It's great now.
He got killed. Bryan Danielson died for our sins. All right. Let's talk about Vampiro, because that's where we're going. First thing, off the hop, Vampiro's from Thunder Bay, Ontario, which I used to live in. I used to live in Thunder Bay, so the idea that Vampiro is from Thunder Bay, Ontario is absolutely wild. I have so
for
many
those who do
fun...
not know, and I'm sure Evan will tell us about Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
But from what I know, as someone who has been to Canada twice and knows fuck all about what's going on up there, Evan has told me that when he lived in Thunder Bay, it is out there.
It's far.
It is absolutely out there, all the way up north, and it's also like pretty desolate.
So the city itself is like decently sized for a Northern Ontario city. Like it's like 130,000 people. Like it's got stuff going on. Like it's not like a wasteland. But
I'm from a major city in the United States.
Yeah, you have
therefore
a whole
it's
other
totally different.
You have a whole other thing. But if you want to go on vacation in Thunder Bay and you want to drive, the number one place to go is a lovely little spot called Duluth, Minnesota. That is 3 and change hours away, and I swear to you, everyone in Thunder Bay is like, oh, what a nice time getaway to Duluth. They loved, like, I was like, am I losing my mind? Why does everyone love Duluth, Minnesota? And then I went and I was like, this is actually kind of nice. I get it.
You know, is Duluth your guys' New York? Like Boston is 3.5, 4 hours away from New York. Like that's how long the drive is.
Duluth is smaller than Thunder Bay in size. It's just a lovely little place. Okay, so Vampiro, not his real name. Surprise, surprise.
Ian something.
Ian Richard Hodgkinson, known as Vampiro. I have so many fun notes on this guy. So obviously he's a professional wrestler. You may know him as Lucha Underground's color commentator. You may know him as a wrestler. You may know him as a member of the Citizen Crime Patrol organization, the Guardian Angels, acting as head of the group's chapter in Mexico City.
Is this a good thing?
I don't know, nor do I feel comfortable commenting on it.
I've seen some clips of the Guardian Angels. It's like good, like, you know, protecting. I've seen stuff of like I guess a subsect of the group, like protecting women, like going to abortion clinics, protecting people who are going to get their votes from who are trying to vote and are like being harassed by, you know, polarized individuals there. You know, things like that. But I have not. You just can't call yourselves Guardian Angels and then expect me to not be a little bit like, what's going on here?
What's going on here? Other things for Hodgkinson in his previous lives. I don't know what the citation is for this. This is from Wikipedia. I really want it to be true. He was a bodyguard for Milli Vanilli, which is outstanding. Outstanding.
I heard their song the other day.
Girl, you know it's true?
Yeah.
Great song. Not them.
Heard it the other day. And I heard it, and the entire time I'm like, haha, nice.
Milli Vanilli.
That's crazy. Also, he's not that big a guy.
Yeah. What do you think he's listed at? Give me his listing.
The height is weird for me.
Okay.
Because he's like a sneaky. It's like Edge. Edge is like tall, and you never really like notice it as much because he's so like thin. But Vampiro, like, it's hard compared to some other guys. I would say like 6'2".
You nailed it right on. 6'2".
Oh my god, 6'2". We'll go 220.
So I'm gonna say 220 during the wrestling we see him at. Now build at 250.
Well, he's just fucking old and fat at this point. Like,
so prior to wrestling, an ice hockey goaltending prospect, and I want something. You know something. If you know nothing about goalies are.
I do not.
The weirdest people in the world. If I had to pick one, when I was doing my sports journalism program, we did a little story on goalies in like the leagues that were nearby. And I just met with goalies, and I was like, "Tell me about like your rituals, things like that." And I was like, "I don't think I do anything weird." And this one goalie showed up, and he had just a dyed blonde mohawk. And this is common on hockey teams during playoff runs. The whole team will dye their hair, or they'll all do crazy haircuts, whatever. So I was like, "Oh, playoffs are starting. Like, did you guys do this?" And he just goes, "No, it's just what I wanted to do with my hair." And I was like, "Huh, all right." And then I remember he was like, yeah, I don't think I have any weird superstitions. I meet with one of his teammates, and he's like, he does his warm up in the exact same spot every time. He will go outside. It does not
Oh,
matter
it's
the
Tristan
weather.
Casas.
He will do the warm up the exact same way. And I was like, okay, so that's weird. He goes, no, he's full of weird shit. And one of the players on another team, he didn't. I remember it wasn't like a specific thing, but he just was like, I have met so many people playing hockey. I don't think I've met a single goalie who I would consider to be a normal dude. And that was the opening line of our story was that line.
I don't know.
So take that as you will from Mr. Vampiro. So
That's
he
freaking hilarious.
got into it by working for International Wrestling in Montreal, Quebec. He would set up the ring. He would become a jobber. He did a lot of stuff. At the age of 16, he became a jobber in 1984. He said he had little training, but he does credit Abdullah the Butcher with giving him some training, so that's cool. Another Abdullah the Butcher shout-out, which I think is like 2 times in 3 weeks now.
Okay.
He met with Paco Alonso and Antonio Pena from CMLL, who took him as a joke because of his unique look. He has dreadlocked blue hair at the time, tons of tattoos, and they decided to throw him in the ring as Vampiro Canadiense, which is the Canadian vampire. He told them he liked vampires, and they were like, "This is great." And this is what it says on Wikipedia about him. To their surprise, with his quote very limited moveset that only consisted of punches, kicks, and headbutts, he became an overnight sensation as his rock star appearance and natural good looks caught on with the young Mexican women in the audience.
All right, the good looks thing. Like, we have to talk about him.
He's a handsome guy.
Yes,
young Vampiro's a handsome guy.
What is the other Addams family? Like the one that's like, it's like literally like Frankenstein, and then like
The Munsters?
The Munsters. He looks like the Frankenstein monster.
No.
Yes. Look this dude up.
A little. He looks a little like
no.
Not
come on.
No,
come on.
Not a crazy amount.
He is literally. Have you seen or heard of the movie Lisa Frankenstein?
Yes, I have.
He should have been fucking Cole Sprouse's role because he's fucking Frankenstein. Like,
fun fact: the guy who plays Frankenstein in the Munsters, the original Munsters, Fred Gwynne, Harvard-educated cartoonist, World War II United States radio man, a cappella singer, and actor.
Honestly, the a cappella singer thing is the most impressive part of that.
Very lit. Very cool. Our first match for Vampiro is a tag match that we had very high hopes for because it's Vampiro, Conan, and Rayo de Jalisco Jr. versus Nitron, Perro, Aguayo, and
Rayo de Jalisco Jr.
Sure. Whatever you say, man.
Do you want me to do this? I can do this. So it's Vampiro, Conan, Rayo de Jalisco Jr., Nitron, Perro Aguayo, and Cien Caras.
I need to go back to my Duolingo. CMLL, August 23rd, 1991. I will say, the beginning of this clip has Cien Caras doing a promo that I can't understand because I don't speak Spanish.
Okay. Here's the part that's like crazy to me about this entire thing. Sure. One, Perro Aguayo doesn't have a mask.
Yeah.
I was like, what's happening? Cien Caras doesn't have a mask. The only person in this match that has a mask is Rayo de Jalisco Jr.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is happening? We're having a lucha libre match in Mexico, and no one here has a mask with two absolute legends of the business at this time period, and none of them have masks except for one guy I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
Nitron looks like they took Dolph Lundgren, shipped him to Mexico, and was like, we're gonna make you look a little flamboyant, but you have to act like the most insecure straight white man.
I think my third note, Nitron is just Ivan Drago, right? That's all it says. It's just Ivan Drago. In terms of the match itself, this match is bad.
This is like legitimately one of his highest rated matches on Pro Fight DB.
It's not a bad match. It is very disjointed, and it's hard to know what's.
There's so much going on.
I can't rely on commentary to give me any context of what's going on.
As a Spanish speaker, I can barely rely on commentary to tell me what's going on.
I will say, early in the match, there's a double suplex. Vampiro counts the pin, and it counts?
No, the ref counts it.
Okay, Vampiro also did the
ref,
count.
yeah, he does, but it's more so like he's egging them on.
Okay, perfect.
Conan is just beating motherfuckers up on the outside the entire match. The entire match. He is fucking everybody up. It's hilarious. Vampiro hit a clean super kick on Nitron at one point. That was crazy. I was like, oh, he gets his leg up there.
For this being one of his highest rated matches, Vampiro spends a large majority of this match getting his ass kicked by Russian Ivan Drago on the outside.
Mexican Ivan Drago.
Where I just started counting because Nitron didn't know what else to do with him. I have a running Vampiro is thrown into the ring post counter by Nitron. How high do you think it got?
If I had to guess, 7.
Okay, it didn't get that high. I got 5.
I think it's a 7?
5.
You know what it is? I'm counting doubles.
Okay, no, 5 separate instances of him being run into the ring post by Nitron. That's how he spends most of the match. And there are
Conan is just beating everybody's ass.
There are women at ringside who are like, that's so fucking hot the way he hits that ring post.
Okay, you remember those videos from like, honestly, we're pulling it closer to like a decade ago about people like the goth seed people who had like the white ones who had like those weird dreadlocks and like whatever, and then they do the weird dances like.
Oh yeah.
He looks like he'd fit right in with that crowd.
Yeah,
that's exactly how he looks right now.
He
looks like Dexter Loomis now, like as he with the dreadlocks, the fucking Mercy the Buzzard shit.
Did you have any other spots in this match you wanted to talk about? Because
there's a suplex by Nitron on Vampiro. Aguayo fucking eats the post. Like it is concerning an individual because he's like in his 50s at this point probably. And it is concerning the thud that I heard when he hit the post. Conan will not let motherfuckers breathe ringside.
No,
just will not. Literally, Conan was in the ring
in this match. By the way, Conan is by far the best person in this match.
Easily, he was in the ring for the double suplex that ended up in the pinfall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is like the only like 20-second sequence that he is in the ring. Anytime other than that, he is on the outside, not waiting on the apron, not waiting like ringside up against the apron. He is throwing hands with some motherfucker ringside the entirety of this match, aside from that 20 to 30-second stint where he's in the ring. And that is it. It's hilarious. This is not wrestling at this point. We're halfway through the match in my notes. We're not wrestling. This is a throwing of hands.
The finish of the match is a knockout.
So Cien Caras, who's on the team with Nitron and Perro Aguayo, turns on Perro Aguayo. Absolutely just starts railing the guy.
Again, for someone who, this is not filmed on the best thing. It's 1991, and I don't have any context from language. I'm like, aren't they on the same team? I got no
explanation. I have zero explanation for you. I tried looking it up. Nothing on the internet told me what was happening.
Cool.
I tried finding it on Wikipedia. Nothing. I tried just Googling it. Nothing. I even did a deep dive on Reddit. Nothing. I went to Mexican Reddit. Nothing. Like it was tough here, man. We might have to go back to the old, what is it? Not RSVP. What the hell the fuck is the original like wrestling forum? RSPW, I think is what it is. It's something like that. And I like, there's like a
pro wrestling. Yeah.
It's like a forum from like the 80s and 90s, or not in the 80s, but like 90s, which was like the original Twitter Reddit for wrestling. I only know about it because the Solid Monster, shout out to Solid Monster Sounds Off, the only wrestling podcast aside from this one that I listen to. He used to do a segment where he would like read off old ones.
I love that.
Just like he'd find like a random thread and read off of it, all the comments and stuff. Like that is my last. That is like the last opportunity for us to get a damn answer on this, probably.
Damn. No one's also told us who Dusty Rhodes was talking about.
Who is the person that died that he couldn't get to watch him in the thing in the Hard Times promo? Who does he talk about at the end?
We'll do an 80s season and we'll
Who does he talk about at the end, Daddy?
The match ends Ryo and Conan knocking
Yeah,
out.
the ref just calls this like it's over. He calls it.
So talking about how Conan is really popular, I would like to turn our attentions to the real life feud between Vampiro and Conan.
Oh yeah, because one's CMLL, one's AAA.
That is not the reason, because they're both in CMLL at the time.
Oh, I think you mean like now, because they still hate each other.
They've buried the hatchet. They don't hate each other the same way anymore. It's a different. They now are like company, whatever related. But
good for them.
While working in Mexico, Vampiro began a real life feud with Conan. Conan had been the top star in the promotion prior to Vampiro's arrival and did not take well to Vampiro being very popular. The feud stems from Vampiro being offered a part in a Mexican soap opera. The producers changed their mind at the last minute when they learned that his command of the Spanish language was poor. They went instead with Conan, who was a fluent Spanish speaker instead. Vampiro considered that Conan had sabotaged his chance to parlay his ring success into a mainstream success, as Conan did become a mainstream star in Mexico as a result of the role. The rivalry apparently lasted several years until the two resolved their differences while working in WCW. So, some telenovela shit about being on a telenovela is very funny.
That sucks.
But you know what doesn't suck? Our second CMLL match. So, November 25th.
Actually, I'm pretty sure the first match was from EMLL.
EMLL? What's EMLL?
I don't know, but that's what it was listed at as on Pro Fight DB.
Doubt.
Like that wasn't a typo by me in the doc. That's actually what it was.
Wrong. I just thought you. I just thought you were wrong.
The kid's cooking. It's me. I'm Kid. Go ahead, Evan. Keep talking about the podcast. Who cares? The people don't.
It is Vampiro teaming with Silver King against the Headhunters. CMLL LA show, November 25th, 1995. Haas month appearance in October. You love to see it. They're the tag team champions. By the end of this match, if you watch this, which I think is my recommendation for the week.
It is absolutely my recommendation for the week, yeah.
You should you will become a big Headhunters fan. These guys fucking rule. I can't tell them apart because it's filmed from the third floor
by my dad. It's filmed by my father on
across the street.
Yeah, on a device that is just a prayer in the dream, held together by duct tape and two little pieces of aluminum foil.
This is the filming equivalent of the John Mulaney joke about the New York Post, where it's like the New York Post is if someone read the news really quick and then is texting you everything they can remember. That's this filming. It's like they saw a match once and they're just trying to recount it, much like how we do. Anyways,
hey, cooking. Somebody has to. This is great. However,
is a great match.
I do not know anything about the Headhunters. I don't know who these people are. I did not look them up afterwards. But I was messaging you while I was watching this. And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. The Headhunters are twin brothers, Manuel and Victor Santiago, who are from New York, who go by Headhunter A and Headhunter B.
Incredible.
Yep. They made appearances in CMLL. They made appearances in Japan, ECW. They did make appearances in WWF as the Squat Team.
The Squat Team?
Squat Team. Squat Team 1, Squat Team 2.
Never heard of this.
Yes. I believe they were aligned with... Yeah. Yeah, they appeared on WWF television in June
Simon
of 1997
Dean
as a tag team managed by Jim Cornette.
The Squat Team?
Squat Team.
Not even the Samoan. I know the Samoan SWAT Team.
Squat Team.
I'm just gonna completely
sounds like somebody
brush right over that.
Like making their like beer league basketball team or like beer league baseball team. They're like, yeah, well, we're the Samoan SWAT team. Yeah, no, that's great. Let's do that. So the match itself, outstanding.
Is it you or you people?
Shh, I am people. There's a drop toe hold splash combo by the Headhunters, 2 count and Silver King. Silver King's getting his shit run for the first little bit. Vampiro gets knocked off gets crotched and lands on the top rope at one point.
He gets chopped off the middle rope, and then he's just getting cooked.
There's a splash on Vampiro, which is a 3 count for the first fall, because it's 2 out of 3 falls rules, as most of the CMLL matches are, especially tag matches.
Yeah.
The start of the second fall, hot. Vampiro's in. He's against one of the Headhunters. Some kicks. There's a headbutt that stops his momentum, and then there's a top rope drop kick from a Headhunter, and it's unbelievable.
I wrote in all caps, missile dropkick from a headhunter. What is this utter woke nonsense?
For both, so they're both listed at 5'11", both headhunters. Their combined weight is 652 pounds, which of course would make them each 326 pounds at 5'11".
Shit.
Yeah. Big.
Oh my God.
SWAT team.
That is, God, Jesus, man. They spent too many hours in a bodega if they're putting up numbers like that. Jesus, man. A nice spinning heel kick by Vampiro.
Yes.
It did absolutely fuck all. They knock one headhunter onto like the apron. Like they literally just knocked him over the top rope onto the apron, and it was a celebration. Like big crowd pop. They start cheering. Yeah. Like the baby faces are like celebrating it. I'm like, this is like when Lex Luger won by DQ against Yokozuna, and he was happy about it. They make one, or they like try to do a corner, or they make one headhunter corner splash into the other one. Silver King hits a sunset flip pin, 1, 2, 3. The falls are evened up.
They are.
Nice. Oh, sorry. So he rolls up one, and then Vampiro rolls up the other for the tying fall.
Yeah. There's not a lot of variety in Vampiro's move if you want to talk about the actual moves, because there's a hip toss by Silver King, tagged to Vampiro.
Great wrestler.
Kicks to the legs of a headhunter, leg lock applied for a moment. I will say, obviously, these are big guys. Vampiro bumps like a son of a bitch.
I was going to say, he is an incredible seller.
He did it really well, even when in the 91 match that we just covered. In this match, he's bumping his ass off.
He is one of those like Jeff Hardy type of, like Darby Allin does this as well, where they just like ragdoll themselves in a way.
The Dolph Ziggler style. Where you just
but Dolph has some level of performance to it, whereas like Vampiro is literally selling this like he is getting shot.
Yeah, that's
like for real. Like he's getting hit, and it makes me genuinely believe that he got hit. Dolph will get like punched in the face and do a backflip. You know what I mean?
That's true. Hey, there's a Tiger Driver 97 by a headhunter.
And that was the point where I was like, is this the greatest tag team that never happened?
Yes, 100%. I'm just so
I was like, I now want to like, do we postpone season 1 just so we could do a Headhunters episode?
There's also a double suplex attempted by Vampiro and Silver King, but instead they both get suplexed by the same headhunter, which was great.
Let's go.
Silver King's super kick is nice. I will give him that too.
So we get a corner. So Silver King does a corner springboard plancha to the outside to one headhunter. Vampiro does a slingshot plancha on top of that same headhunter, and then the other headhunter,
we'll call him headhunter,
comes through. Yes, comes through and does a fucking tope con hilo. What is this utter woke nonsense that these big men are doing right now?
Dive. It's just, I'm just thinking the Randy Orton quote, and I'm like, no man, people were doing this in the 90s.
Did you see the clip of Moxley doing the forearm to Action Andretti after he does the like handspring off the rope?
Yeah.
And if everyone's just like, this is Moxley's not about that utter woke nonsense bullshit in wrestling.
I've never seen a stronger boomer opinion take place in a wrestling ring where he's just like, no.
Just fuck that.
Some of my takes next week are going to be my boomer opinions that I strongly believe.
All of my takes are going to be exactly what the liberal nerd versions of baseball who are talking about your vorps and your zorps and your corpse. Oh, they're talking about all this. Now it's about playing ball.
To the top rope, Vampiro moves on the moonsault in the most obvious dodge I've ever seen in my entire life. So one of the headhunters is going to a moonsault. Vampiro is like looking at him like this. And when he thinks he's about to go, he pump fakes the roll. He's like, shit. All right. And then obviously he dodges to avoid the moonsault naturally. Yep. Vampiro goes up. The other headhunter knocks him down. People are going crazy because I guess he punched him in the dick.
He forearmed him to the dick. I guess is what we're supposed to believe.
And that was a DQ finish. They win on a
Yeah.
punch to the dick.
Vampiro sells it like he just had a botched vasectomy. Like, it is incredible how much he is selling this literally like he got shot in the balls. Like, it's hilarious. They win by DQ. I was having such a great time, and I left this match so sad.
When do you think the most popular time of year is to get a vasectomy?
Why did you Google that?
Because I had heard this before anecdotally, and I wanted to confirm.
Is it January?
It's not.
Interesting.
Lots of places will offer deals if you have to pay for them, like in the United States, around March for March Madness. So you can get your vasectomy and then sit on the couch because you have to do about 4 days of rest after a vasectomy on average. So you just watch all the March Madness games.
I went with January because I was like, you want to get that tied up before Valentine's Day.
No mistakes. We're gonna take a break. When we get back, Vampiro goes to WCW. Back from the break, during his time in CMLL as well as before WCW, he did go to a couple different places. Universal Wrestling Association had a couple tours of Japan, and in 1998 made his appearance in WCW. He was signed by WCW, and his first match was in June of 98. On an episode of Nitro, he beat Brad Armstrong. He would not return to WCW until the March 18th, 1999 episode of Thunder. So he debuted in June, was gone for 9 months, and came back to defeat Prince Iaukea on Thunder.
That's a whole pregnancy term.
A whole pregnancy. Later that year, he formed a stable with the Insane Clown Posse. Yes, we had made it 239 episodes without mentioning the Insane Clown Posse, and here we are.
Good for us.
It was called the Deadpool. It was him, the ICP, and Raven. Initially, it was called the Necro Ward.
Deadpool is so much better.
So much better. Even though the stable was short-lived, they gained popularity and had a heated feud with Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, and Conan. Of course, we have one of these matches. It is Vampiro and the ICP versus Eddie, Rey Mysterio, and Billy Kidman at Fall Brawl 99. I just want to remind you, because it is October and scary season, I just want you to know that bleach blonde, unmasked Rey Mysterio Jr. can't hurt you. He's not real.
What the filthy animals did to pro wrestling needs to be dissected.
Eminem looks like Rey Mysterio. Or Rey Mysterio looks like Eminem.
No, he looks like Devin Sawa trying to be Eminem.
He does look like Devin Sawa. Hey, what's your favorite Insane Clown Posse song?
I appreciate that you think I would have one. Can you believe that Insane Clown Posse was a thing? Like a legitimate thing.
It still is a thing, which I think is crazy. They have
in pro wrestling and also like legitimate mainstream guys.
So, how many studio albums do you think Insane Clown Posse has?
Here's the thing. It could either be like Frank Ocean and they have 2, or it could be like they have 55.
I'm going to set the over-under for you at 14.5. It's a tough over-under. It's a good line.
Over?
It's 16. It's 16 studio albums. That is one every 2 years since their first one. That's crazy.
I don't even know what genre. I've never heard an Insane Clown Posse song.
Oh, I mean, neither have I don't think, at least not by choice. They're literally just known as they're a hip hop, but their style of hip hop is known as horrorcore. They're known for
what the fuck does that mean?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But
is it like in a scary movie when the ghost face starts rapping? Is that what that means?
They got the Juggalos, man. They got Juggalo Championship Wrestling. So you know what? If you can make a career out of it, kudos to you, man.
They made it work.
They made it work. Kidman and Shaggy Too Dope to start. I can't believe the thing. When you were like, yeah, we're kind of reaching the bottom of the barrel for matches to cover. Fuck, you might be right.
Shaggy Too Dope, man.
If you're wondering, Shaggy Too Dope is the one with the red hair, and Violent J is the one who looks like Guy Fieri on vacation. He's like, yeah, man, I got really into Carnival and fucking Cirque du Soleil, so here we are.
Oh no. Jesus Christ. Shaggy takes Kidman down. He gives him a shot to the head. He throws him into his own corner. He sends Kidman into the ropes, kicks him in the face.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Kidman kicks him in the face, then sends him into the corner, tries to go for a splash but misses.
Yeah. I like when Violent J and Mysterio are in the ring because it's such a weird. Violent J's like a decently big guy, and Mysterio makes him look even bigger. We do get a Bronco Buster to Vampiro by Mysterio, and Vampiro tags out immediately. He's like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, he said, "Fuck all of that." He makes tags to Kidman. Ray tags in Kidman. Violent J comes back in. Kidman takes him down with a shot to the head. Violent J hides behind the ref, and then he comes back. It's a clothesline. He drops an elbow before tagging Vampiro back in.
Vampiro in this match doesn't do, and commentary makes a note of it. You would expect Vampiro to host the lion's share of the wrestling in this match because he's the wrestler, and the other two are murder clowns, I guess. And yet, for the beginning half of this match, Vampiro's in for like 35 seconds.
He's doing his best. Okay, Evan.
He's just
doing his best.
He's just sending out the juggalos. He's like, you guys go out there, you wear them down, and then I'll come in. And
yeah. Vampiro pounds on Kidman, throws him into the ropes, hits a shoulder block. He comes off with like a spinning heel kick, gets 2 count.
He chops Kidman a lot.
Yes, he chops the fuck out of Kidman. Hits a power, or Shaggy comes in, hits a power slam. Kidman kicks out. Violent J comes in, hits some chops, gets it with a clothesline, and then we get I guess you could call it a hot tag to Ray.
Yeah, the seated senton comes in.
It's like a warm tag.
Yeah. Hits
Give it like a
senton,
2.
Does a lion salt, which is cool. Violent J clotheslines Ray to the outside, gets stomped on the outside by Vampiro and Shaggy 2 Dope, which is what I imagine an Insane Clown Posse concert is like.
Getting stomped by them?
It would not surprise me if the Juggalos were like, it was one of those things where like everyone thinks we're scary, but we're actually like the most friendly people on the planet. You know what I mean? Like that would not shock me. I'm a Juggalo, baby. So
I'm a Juggalo getting lots of hoes.
Vampiro slips, landing on his feet when he tries to reverse a monkey flip. He fucks it a little bit, but then he does fuck it. Clock Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero also hasn't like been in the match at all.
It's crazy. Violent J hits him with a Samoan drop. Shaggy comes off the top with a leg drop for a 2 count. Vampiro comes in, hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Guerrero take all 3 of them out. And then the numbers work against him.
They do a big drop. Like they essentially do a version of the 3D Shaggy 2 Dope and Vampiro, but they fuck it a little bit.
Sloppy as hell.
Shaggy 2 Dope is supposed to drop as Vampiro is pulling Eddie down. He does not, and so he's holding Eddie's legs in the air for a little too long, and so Eddie just kind of goes like perpendicular to the ground.
Yeah, which he's not supposed to be.
No.
Vampiro hits a top rope gut wrench to Kidman. Eddie breaks it. Kidman, then we got to the finish. Kidman just hits a shooting star press on Vampiro. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
The filthy animals win the match.
This was not the last band that Vampiro would bring to WCW because he also brought the Misfits to WCW, where they started a feud with Oklahoma and Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Oklahoma Mantar.
You know who Oklahoma was, right?
It's supposed to be Jim Ross, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was played by Ed Ferreira. Yeah. Vampiro and Dr. Death had a match at Starrcade. Sounds like a crazy like simulated world that we live in. If Vampiro won, he would get 5 minutes in the ring against Oklahoma. After Williams was DQ'd, Vampiro had his match with Oklahoma. Oklahoma got a little bit of offense in, and then Vampiro took his cowboy hat and pinned him following his finisher, the nail in the coffin. In early 2000, Vampiro would form an alliance with Sting as the Brothers in Paint, a.k.a. the BIP. He helped Sting defeat Lex Luger in a lumberjack match. This did not last long, as Vampiro turned on Sting by attacking him during a match on the April 10th episode of Nitro. becoming a heel and joining the New Blood stable, which we've talked about before, I believe, in our Mike Awesome episode. At Spring
Perhaps.
Stampede 2000, Vampiro cost Sting the U.S. title in a match against Scott Steiner when he pulled Sting underneath the ring. They feuded all through the spring, with Vampiro having the upper hand in pretty much every single time they met up. Vampiro had Sting's number the whole time. And now we're going to do a quick little promo between Vampiro and Sting where they set up to an insane match that is not quite an inferno. It's an inferno match. They call it a Human Torch match.
I like it. Vampiro, my first note is, does Vampiro have a Michael Myers mask? No, it's a Sting mask, and then he lights it on fire and says he's taking Sting to hell.
Yeah, he's going to light that bitch on fire.
We cut to the ring. Sting is there. He says he's talked, or Vampiro says he's talked a lot. He says he's talked the talk. Sting also says he's walked the walk, which is true.
He's been Sting the whole time.
He's been real nice, real patient. Says he's about to blow a gasket, and he's going to take out Vampiro. Vampiro then comes out. He asked Sting why he didn't have the balls to finish the job when he had Vampiro like handcuffed and like whenever we get like
in a cage.
In a cage, ready to get beaten or whatever. Says that if the roles were reversed, they'd still be picking up pieces of Sting off the front row.
Two things. Vampiro calls him Steve the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Drives me nuts.
Commentary didn't like it either.
Commentary was mad.
Shivani was pissed. He's like, "What the fuck? His name is Sting."
Not to the level where he is with Tony Storm, where he's like, "Go talk, bitch," or whatever.
No, he said that to Mariah May.
Mariah May, right? So I was like, "Oh my god." The other
talk,
thing
bitch,
is that Vampiro. I've never seen a human being walk around in life, and I'm like, "Oh, that's what a zombie would look like in real life. That's crazy." And then I saw his face paint and the lighting that they have here. I'm like, "Oh, that's a zombie. That's crazy."
Monster.
Sting. I almost called him Steve. Sting says, "You're a psycho, bonehead. We're not going to do this match," because Vampiro explained what the match type was. Of like, we're going to light your opponent on fire, Steve.
He says Sting doesn't have a choice, and then the ring ropes light on fire.
This raises a fundamental question. Does Vampiro have magic powers?
I think he just paid off the ring crew.
I think he did. But imagine the ring crew. They're like, all right, so the plan is we're going to light a fire in the middle of the ring. Like, we're going to light the whole ring on fire in the middle of the arena. And they're like, yeah. He goes, how much do you have to get paid by Vampiro to do that? What's the number? Kayfabe. We're going full kayfabe.
What's your number?
What's the pure number you need to get to set? Not because the way you got to think is essentially you're killing Sting.
What's your number? It's I don't know what my barometer is.
I don't think I have the number for it. Like, I don't think I would do it. If I'm a ring crew, I'll be like, you're on your own.
It's because you're Canadian.
Absolutely.
Well, you're an accessory. You're an accessory. You're an accessory to murder if you do that. So we're looking at least a couple million here. Just because it's got to be at least like a ridiculous amount of money that's worth it for me to potentially face jail time.
Yeah, that's fair. It's never expanded upon if Vampiro has magical powers or not. Which magical powers, they throw me off in the wrestling world.
Hey,
some people have them and then they don't have them and they don't use them, and I don't get it.
Considering what happens later on in the podcast or later on in the career, specifically Lucha Underground, we'll see. We'll see.
Vampiro would win the match. He would set Sting on fire. Vampiro then focused on the Demon due to his defection from the ICP form stable, the Dark Carnival. You remember the Demon, right? The Kiss Demon?
Oh my God.
Played by Dale Torborg.
Dale Torborg?
Torborg.
That is the kind of name that I would expect like John C. Reilly's character in Step Brothers to have. I know it's Doug Torborg. I know his name is Dale Doback, I think, but still.
apparently Vampiro kidnapped the Demon's fiance Asia, and then challenged him to a graveyard match, which featured the return of Sting from being lit on fire.
Can you believe that WCW was like ahead in the ratings for 83 weeks?
I can when then this happens. So let's take our last break. When we get back, we have just one of the worst matches we're going to cover on this podcast. Back from the break. Halloween Havoc 2000. Fat Chick Thriller. The Giant Vanilla.
Yeah.
70s guy Mike Awesome versus Vampiro.
Gook.
I don't know why. Like they're having a feud. Vampiro had lost in a hardcore match earlier, and then Vampiro wanted to get into the hardcore division, I guess. Vampiro. So Mike Awesome, terrible gimmicks. We covered Mike Awesome. Go listen to the Mike Awesome episode. It's really good because you get to see his FMW stuff where he fucking rules.
Great powerbomb.
And his ECW stuff where he fucking rules, and then he goes to WCW, and it all goes downhill.
What's wrong with Fat Chick Thriller?
Nothing's wrong with being a fat chick Thriller. It just was a bad gimmick.
You don't know.
I do know it was a bad gimmick. I saw it with my eyeballs.
Maybe he just wasn't booked correctly.
You book for me, rebook for me the return of the fat chick Thriller. Okay.
Oh, easily. Nia Jax, we coming for you.
I fucking knew that's where you were going. Vampiro also coming out in quite the outfit. Looks like a black dress with long gloves. And I was like, hell yeah. This is the coolest Vampiro's look so far.
This is like Goth Vito.
Turns out it's just like a entrance skirt and a shirt and a glove. And like the gloves were all for instance, he just wrestles in regular tights. And I was like, oh. Okay. He also has a sword.
Drew McIntyre was jealous.
Drew McIntyre was watching this and he was like, that's a good idea.
Because of the match, Vampiro grabs a cane from someone, starts beating on Awesome.
Okay, a couple context pieces we need before this. Vampiro hops on the mic ahead of time and is like, hey, Mike, you're supposed to have a title match on Nitro tomorrow. How about we make this match where if you lose, I get that title shot instead? And Mike Awesome's like, sure, why not? Awesome then does a fucking suicide dive onto Vampiro at ringside, which ruled. It's also where I noticed Vampiro's face paint is just gray. It's just like shale on his face.
Yeah, he looks like he. You ever see Game of Thrones? You seem like the kind of guy who has, obviously. You know when they get the grayscale?
Like, you look like a fucking nerd.
You know the grayscale that they get where they just do gray? It's like that.
I've never been read so easily. You look like someone who's seen Game of Thrones. Yeah. But you also don't look like someone who reads a lot, so you probably didn't read the books. You got that right. you got that down to a fucking science.
Oh my God.
Awesome body drops Vampiro into the crowd, and as he goes into the crowd, Vampiro smokes a security guard and knocks her off of her chair. Did you not see that?
I was not paying enough attention to this. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Body drops Vampiro into the crowd as he's rolling. This poor security guard is facing away from the action, which I get. Like at concerts, they're facing the crowd. You gotta be alert for all the fucking weirdos in the crowd. And she just gets bowled over from behind and just gets run over.
They have like a samurai duel with chairs.
Oh no, I want to talk about the cane. We're still getting to the cane stuff. You're ahead. Let's talk about that cane.
Too far. Sorry.
So Awesome, like they're brawling up the stairs. Vampiro gets a microphone stand from somewhere. It reminds me of No Mercy, where you'd go around the ring and you'd reach into the crowd for items, and then you pull it out and be like, "Hell yeah, 2x4!"
Hell yeah, popcorn!
He gets somebody's cane and he hits Awesome with a cane. Commentary says, because then a guy from the crowd starts hitting Mike Awesome. Commentary is like, and I'm using commentary's words here, not mine. Commentary is like, the cripple's attacking Mike Awesome. Because they assume it was the guy who had the cane. We have no evidence to believe that is the case. We don't know. But also, the second that a fan touches Mike Awesome, both Awesome stops selling and starts throwing hands with him. And Vampiro turns and is like, nope. And like, it's just like knocking the guy away.
Yeah, like, fuck off. We're not doing this.
You're not part of this. It's that it's Seamus from Family Guy when he puts his peg in the middle. No.
Just
You're not part of this. Oh, nuts.
they duel with chairs like samurai warriors, according to Tony Schiavone. Hey Tony, they didn't use chairs.
Doesn't Tony Schiavone strike you as a guy who would know a lot about samurai stuff? Doesn't he just strike you as a
No, the
guy?
exact opposite.
No?
Tony strikes me as the guy who literally knows about 3 things in life.
Wrestling?
It's wrestling, college football,
That's exactly right. Yeah.
and knowing the precise way to how to fix household appliances.
I bet Tony Schiavone
He's like, "Oh, your fucking 8.4 quart fridge is 2 millimeters to the left. You should move it to the right so you can get the central cooling system working better." It's like, what the fuck did you just say to me?
Tony Schiavone looks like he carves a mean turkey. Like he knows how to keep the breast juicy when he's doing it. You know what I mean? He's got like the right knife for it and everything. And there's
oh my god,
yeah.
Is he Hannibal Lecter? Jesus.
You gotta keep a juicy breast.
He's slicing breasts. I don't know. Vampiro wins out on the samurai duel. Hits a release belly to belly superplex. That almost like so close nearly killed somebody.
Yeah. He also hits a really bad knockoff Van Daminator. We get a top rope seated senton by Vampiro. Both men look worse after it because I think Awesome was supposed to reverse into a powerbomb, but he doesn't fully do that.
It just falls backwards.
Yeah, so both men are both... And this is when commentary informs us that this is not a hardcore match. Commentary's like, yeah, the referee really letting them play loose.
No. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, because Awesome goes to go get a table, and I think Shivani's like, a reminder, this is not a hardcore match. And the commentator's like, yeah, they're letting them play real fast and loose with it.
Holy shit. Who's this? Is it Mark Madden? Is that the guy, the other one?
On commentary?
Yeah.
I think it's Shivani and Stephen Michael.
What? Well, he goes, Jesus. There's always room for Jello, and there's always room for another table.
Kind of true. Oh yeah, Mark Madden is on commentary too. Yeah, Shivani Madden. Stevie Ray is also on commentary. That's who it is. It's not Stephen Michael. It's Stevie Ray.
I'm just gonna completely brush over that one. Vampiro's up fast enough to break the awesome splash. Mm-hmm. But we do get a super awesome bomb. Mike Awesome pins Vampiro, and then we get some of that sweet 70s music.
We sure do. So Vampiro
is this the worst match you've ever seen?
No, because we covered Honky Tonk Man. If I have had people ask me, I've had friends ask me, and people who were interested in wrestling ask me, they're like, "Oh, like who's the worst person you've covered on the podcast?" I'm like, "Oh, Honky Tonk Man." And I remember because a friend of mine who's older than me was like offended because he thought Honky Tonk Man was good because he saw him as a kid.
It's crazy.
And I was like, I'm like, have you watched any Honky Tonk Man stuff as an adult? He was like, no. I was like, go watch it because he's entertaining. I will give him that.
He's a Honky Tonk Man.
It's so bad. Vampiro was out with an injury and did not recover before WCW was purchased by the WWF. Therefore, his final WCW appearance was on the November 1st, 2000 episode of Thunder, where he teamed up with your favorite and mine, Jeff Jarrett, to take on Sting and Mike Awesome, which led to a loss for Jarrett and Vampiro after Awesome performed a running powerbomb on Vampiro and pinned him. Hodgkinson claimed he was hospitalized during Vince's purchase of WCW and was informed that WWF creative team had no plans for him, would not pick up his contract before the purchase. He also claimed that he planned on leaving WCW before he broke his neck. He had his neck injury then. In the interim, between 2001 and our next match, Vampiro's Wikipedia is so long with the number of places he went to. So, between 2001 and 2015, he would go to CMLL from 2001 to 2005 and 2007, the World Wrestling Council. He would do 2 different stints in All Japan Pro Wrestling. He would do 1 stint in TNA in 2003. He would do Extreme Pro Wrestling in 2001, 2002, and 2008. He would do AAA from 2005 to 2013, and then again once we meet him again in 2015. In 2007, he was on Wrestling Society X, which was that MTV wrestling show. He was,
TJP was
of
on that.
course, hang out in Juggalo Championship Wrestling, but we are focused on Lucha Underground, where he was a commentator. Now, to a side important story that we'll weave in a second. On February 4th, 2015, Pengaton Jr. started a storyline about breaking his opponent's arms, dedicating each broken arm as a sacrifice for an unknown master.
His master.
On April 1st, 2015, Pengaton participated in a tournament to crown the first LU Trios champions. Pengaton, Sexy Star, and Superfly were defeated by Big Rick the
Terrible
Mac.
team.
Big Rick the Mac and Killshot. Great fucking team.
Yeah, and then he murdered Superfly.
He sure did. He tried to break Superfly's arm, but Star saved him. On April 8th, Pengaton attacked Star and Superfly, managing to break Superfly's arm. 3 weeks later, Pengaton was defeated by Sexy Star. On June 3rd, he defeated Sexy Star in a submission match and then was going to sacrifice Sexy Star, but was stopped by Vampiro. Afterwards, Pengaton focused all of his attention on attacking Vampiro, saying he would sacrifice him for his master. This leads to our last match, Cero Miedo match, Ultima Lucha Part 2, Pengaton Jr. versus Vampiro. No DQ, no countouts, anything goes. I would just like to make sure everyone knows, Season 1, Lucha Underground Pengaton, fucking slaps.
Fucking Season 2, Penta.
Season 1,
when he's Pentagon Dark.
I remember just walking in, like getting into Lucha Underground. I'm like, I like this guy. I like everything about him. And then Season 2, you're like, oh, I was right.
I still do. I'm genuinely so excited for them to go to WWE, just for the simple fact that I hope that maybe one day we get a little bit of a Pentagon run. Because
what I want
he's
really
so
bad.
good.
It's not like I know it's not the same as like a dream match anymore. Can I have 20 minutes of Pengaton and Shinsuke? Can I have it?
Just going for it.
Can I have it?
I didn't even need them to wrestle. I just want them to have like an aura off.
Yeah, exactly. Just a vibes off. You know?
Like, I'm telling you right now, if you take like prime aura Roman Reigns, like the final boss Rock and Pengaton Jr. from Lucha Underground, and you put them in the same ring, the Samoans are cooked.
You're right.
Also, it's not talked about enough. I mean, the people watching this on YouTube will be able to see it. But the Cero Miedo sign that he does is like the most innovative thing in the history of pro wrestling.
It's the best thing since whatever Major Loser, which also slapped.
Oh, what? See, I went right for this.
You immediately did Cero Miedo again. No, whatever.
I know it's whatever Major Loser. I get it again.
You just can't stop being a fan of Pengaton. So Vampiro comes out in looking like the haunted Pope. He's in the religious garb. It's an interesting vibe.
It's the what was the Pope movie that what's the Australian actor? The older famous he was Superman's dad.
Russell Crowe. The Pope's Exorcist is the movie you're thinking of.
Yes. Remember when he's riding the moped?
There are a lot of movies about popes. There's another one coming out soon.
Yes. The first Omen happened earlier this year.
Enclave is coming out soon.
Yes.
Good.
Pengaton was so fucking cool. By the way, it says that Vampiro is from the underbelly of Mexico when he's just a white dude from Canada.
From Thunder Bay. And I will say Thunder Bay produces some interesting folks. But
yes, but not from the underbelly of Mexico.
When I was in Thunder Bay recently, I was there for work with a bunch of work colleagues, and one of the people found glass in their bed. So fucking Thunder Bay is
in
hardcore.
The bed.
Yeah, it was in the bed. Like they pull because you always check for bed bugs and stuff like that when you get to a hotel, and they pulled back the sheets and there was just glass in the bed, and they were like, "Well, fucking hardcore match in the bed, baby, at the hotel."
My God. So I watched Smile. I'm not going to give a spoiler, but I watched Smile 2 on Thursday because I do a horror movie night every Thursday with my friends leading up to Halloween. And this week we just decided to go watch Smile 2, which just released. And there's a big glass sequence that happens in that movie, and I just every time I think of Glass now, I will just think of that movie. And also shout out to Sky Riley. Her music slaps, even though she's a fictional character.
I have heard that apparently the music from the fictional pop star in Smile 2 is unbelievable.
The end credit song that comes on when the movie's over, I was literally like, we're supposed to be like horrified or whatever, like feeling not good, and I was just there like, This is like this is like something off of Brad. I'm like,
so. Immediately, Pentagon with chair shots to the spine of Vampiro. Does not even let him get like settled in the ring. He's just hitting him with chair shots immediately.
So apparently Vampiro's had like 6 neck surgeries, according to Matt Striker.
Yeah. I love it because Matt Striker is trying to strike the chord of like, I am Vampiro's friend and I care about
Ian, please.
Yeah, and that's good. But at the same time, I don't think if you were his friend, you would be giving this much exposition. He's just constantly talking. Like
bro, stop putting his business out there.
I really think Matt Striker could have been a really, really good color guy. He just needs to stop talking so much.
Yeah, he talks so much.
Much.
My issue, right, is like, let's say you feel sympathetic for your friend and all that. You just wouldn't talk about it. You know what I mean? You just like be like, yo, can you like just not?
Yeah.
Or you just be like, yo, what the fuck's wrong with you? Or you would just
chill.
get involved.
So we get into the stands. Vampiro with a headbutt. Pentagon just chucks a water bottle at a walking away Vampiro. Funny spot. I like that. That's funny. Use all your weapons available to you.
Boots Pentagon Vampiro back into the post.
Vampiro right on the concrete. Throws some fucking chairs at him. And I was like, yeah. Beat up this older guy. Not an old man yet, but an older guy.
He's older. He's up. He's in his 40s. Scoop slam ringside. And then every chair shot ever.
Yeah. Throws chairs at him, laying in with chair shots. And then the
Rick Knox throws up the X. He's like, this cannot continue. Stretcher job.
Comes back, baby.
The temple went stupid when that happened.
Temple did go stupid.
We get a spinning heel kick.
Yep.
Thumbtacks. Scoop slams Pentagon onto them. He goes for like
a swanton bomb.
No, because he it's a kind of like a Phoenix splash because he starts like in a moonsault position, then rotates over. It's what was it that oh my god, Too Cold Scorpio would do. It's kind of like Too Cold Scorpio's move that he would do, which always looks so cool. Pentagon gets light tubes.
Smashes them over the head of Vampiro, and then is driving the broken tube, into the head of Vampiro. He's licking the blood. Tubes, yeah, he's licking the blood off him, which is a lot.
Hip toss. So he sets a light post up in the corner.
Yeah.
And then he goes for a move, but Vampiro counters into a hip toss, and hip tosses Pentagon through the light tube that's in the corner.
You ever seen those light tubes in real life? Like, you ever been able to break one?
I've never like held one, but I've seen them because my schools would have those light tubes in the thing, and sometimes like the plastic cover of the light would like break off or whatever, so you could see the light tubes. And every time I would, I'd be like, haha, wrestling.
So I was walking home one day in the 8th grade, and we just see a stack of like 6 of them on the side of the road.
This is my dream. You're living a dream of mine.
Are like, hey, light tubes, hardcore match. And then we're like, are we gonna hit each other with these? We're like, no, that's stupid. What we'll do is we'll go down to the trees that are behind the community pool in our neighborhood, and we'll break one. So we just took one each, just to break it, to see what it was like in real life. And then now looking back on that, I'm like, oh, we just put glass in a park. Just the most irresponsible fucking thing to do.
But you were also children.
Yeah, we were in the 8th grade.
So it's not like you're some like weirdos who are like...
No, we were dummies who were just doing dumb things.
It's not like you're some adult weirdo who's like suddenly, oh, you got kids over here with glass in their eyes. Yeah. You're like also a kid who facilitated kids having glass in their eyes.
Be careful. This is a reminder for everyone to check their children's candy every year, because sometimes last year I got candy and it included the Communist Manifesto. So...
What's wrong with that?
Lots, according to some people.
Some people. Top rope belly to belly by Vampiro after he starts ripping at Pentagon's mask.
Covered in so many tacks.
So much blood.
They keep hitting the mat and adding more tacks. At one point, Vampiro is going out to the ring to get a table, a lighter fluid, and lighter, and brings them all back in. As he's leaving, you see the number of tacks in his shoe, and then his pants literally shine at points because of the amount of tacks that are in his ass and legs. And I was like, "Oh, that's not good."
How's he gonna take a shit later?
It's gonna come out of multiple places. It's like you ever had the Play-Doh thing where you squeeze it from the top and they
he
grow
better
hair.
play. He better pray. It's tight and not or it's tight. He better pray that it's solid and not liquid.
Vampiro lights the table on fire. Pentagon immediately slams him through it, and Vampiro's on fire for a while.
Yeah, it's a good bit. This is we need a
and drops
fire
and
extinguisher,
rolls, which is the first time I've ever seen stop, drop, and roll effectively used. By the way, I thought getting caught on fire was going to be a significantly bigger part of my childhood. The amount that they talked about stop, drop, and roll, I felt like I knew it from the age of like 5 on, and I thought, I'm like, well, fuck. Eventually, one
You
day,
know what's something that I thought I
combust.
would know more?
Quicksand.
Yes, actually, now that you mention it, but also like forest fires.
I
thought forest fires were happening around me at all times, and I have yet to I've never even seen a fucking campfire, much less a forest fire.
Well, I will say there are a lot of forest fires in my area.
Yes, they do happen. However, not around here, partner.
That's true. A man finally puts out Vampiro with the fire extinguisher, and the rolling helps. Pentagon with the
remember
pin.
Pull, squeeze, aim. Oh, sorry, pull, aim, squeeze,
and spray.
Well, that's a part of the aiming process, man.
You spread. No, it's pass, pull, aim, squeeze, and spread. So you make sure you get the whole fire.
You know, I'm suddenly like not caring about this anymore.
Well, that's unfortunate for you. You know what Pentagon cared about? He cared about going to his master. Vampiro
Maestro, where are you?
He says, break my arm. Pentagon calls for his master after breaking Vampiro's arm. And Vampiro's like, Daddy's home. It's me. I'm your master.
The way that my jaw hit the ground when this happened.
The storyline was great.
Hit the ground. I was absolutely floored by this.
It's a great storyline. Vampiro is essentially retired. He really had a match in like 2020.
He had a match last year.
Yeah. But like he's not like officially retired, but he hasn't really done a lot more. Some other news and notes in here. He has a daughter named Dasha who was mentioned a lot during the commentary.
Fuentes?
I don't believe it's Dasha Fuentes, or else I believe she would have her own
thing.
But this Dasha's godfather is Norman Smiley.
My goat.
I fucking love Norman Smiley. This is great.
We did a Norman Smiley episode like a few weeks ago. Everybody go listen to
that. And there's been and poor Vampiro has gone through a lot of things too. He had a brain tumor. He had stomach cancer at one point.
Shit.
In 2019, he announced he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. So,
oh my God,
a difficult life. What did you think going through and looking at the career of Vampiro?
You know, it's like I messaged you last night or the night before. Vampiro is certainly a wrestler. He absolutely is a wrestler. You could see that there's a passion for the business, and you can see that he really likes to fucking sell.
Yeah.
But as a performer, there is not my cup of tea. The move set is limited, which is fine. You can have a limited move set, but he also doesn't really do much, like at all, aside from sell and punch and do that spinning heel kick.
And that top rope overhead belly to belly. Loves that.
There's something about his voice. Like I feel like he could have been an absolutely elite promo with his voice if he was Mexican, but he's not, because he's got cholo voice. But he's like, it's like, oye vato, like I'm Canadian vato, ese. But also you're a white guy from Thunder Bay, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't know. There's so much with Vampiro. He is a great talent for the industry because genuinely the impact that he's left is more than what he left as an in-ring performer. It's a lot of it is his stuff on commentary, Lucha Underground, a lot of his management that he's done in Mexico with CMLL, and like truly being like a central figure in getting a lot of talent from Canada and the United States over to Mexico to wrestle, and also vice versa. A lot of the talent from down there to being able to wrestle in the Americas. Like he is really like an
Influential, yeah.
influential figure in that like management in pro wrestling, which is like incredible. Like he's seems like a good dude as well. Like all this. I mean, he's Canadian, but he's, like good Canadian. Not Chris Jericho Canadian. And then if we get to the like he's had more bad matches than good matches, and that's unfortunate because I really really wanted to like him. But unfortunately, just me personally, not my cup of tea. Overall, as a performer, I can see why people would like him. There's like a carelessness to the way that he performs. There's like a freedom sort of to the way he performs. You know what? I just figured it out. He wrestles like a backyard wrestler.
Yeah, there is a little bit of like that backyard style to his game. Like I'm not surprised that you're not a fan.
It's not for me.
I'm a fan because I can tell that the charisma is there, the bumping is there. Yeah, the moves aren't awesome. Yeah, like maybe he also didn't tell a lot of like awesome stories. Like it's hard to find some really like the best story he's ever been a part of is by far the Pentagon stuff.
Oh, easily.
And that, like, he was really good in that role.
You didn't like him setting Sting on fire?
I did not like him setting Sting on fire.
You didn't like his feud with the fat chick Thriller?
The fat chick Thriller in Manila. It's always good to see and branch out and see more stuff. Vampiro is somebody that I knew tangentially for so long, and then obviously saw in Lucha Underground, so it's really cool to go and see. The recommendation, if you've never seen Ultimate Lucha 1, go see it. The whole of Ultimate Lucha
the whole
1
thing
is amazing. So go watch it.
Honestly, the first 2 seasons of Lucha Underground are great.
Are awesome.
The third season is tainted because it's really central around a certain individual who sucked.
Yeah.
In hindsight, not in the moment, but
the other thing, go watch this Headhunters tag team match. It's really good.
Yes.
Really
please.
Good.
The Headhunters are goated.
As usual, all the links for all the matches are in the podcast description if you're listening, as well as in the YouTube video description as well. Next week, it's the last episode of season 1. It's the Take Purge. Please send us your takes, wrestling or non-wrestling related. Hit us up on Instagram. We keep putting stories up pretty much every day so that you can add in any of your take purges. We will do them anonymously if you would like. We can put your name on them if you want them to. We're going to be bringing our wrestling takes, our non-wrestling takes. We're going to just be hanging out for a while next week. And then it'll be time for season 2. Follow us, of course. Follow Javier where he tells you right now.
I'm on the Twitter machine at JMello Sports. By the time seasons roll around, I will have a sign. I promise I will have a sign.
And you can follow me at It's Evan Gomes, ITSEVANGOMES. Follow the podcast, most importantly, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, at Crossbody of Work. Get excited for season 2, 1998. Get excited for the Take Purge, and get excited for everyone's favorite part of the show, Javier. Any final words for the people?
This week on Life Advice with Javier. Sunscreen. Use it.
Yes.
Use sunscreen. If you're like me and you're not a big sun person, and then you go to the Caribbean and you're in the sun and your nose gets burnt and you're like, what the fuck? I put sunscreen on. You didn't put enough. Put sunscreen on. It's better to overdo than underdo. So over deliver. More sunscreen. All of it. Make sure also when you're putting sunscreen on your face that it's sunscreen that's good for your face. There's a lot of sunscreen that is meant for body, not face.
That's true.
I mean, no difference. Know the difference and put sunscreen. It's important. I want you people to live forever. I don't want you guys to have decrepit skin when you're old. I don't want you guys to suffer from sun deficiencies either. So make sure you do go outside. I know we're getting into cold season today. I woke up 4 a.m. It was like freaking 37 degrees Fahrenheit. And so is that like 2 for y'all?
Yeah, about there.
About 2. Right. And not the coldest thing in the world, but when I just got back from 90-degree weather. So yeah, not ideal for me. Not ideal for me. But yes, sunscreen. Know the difference in sunscreen between face and body. Use it and do it and learn it, because I believe me, you don't want to have a fucking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer nose.
No, that's a bad time. That's a very bad time. All right. Next week, Take Purge season 1 finale. Get excited. We will talk to you next week.
Later.